Welcome to the 22nd installment in Trading Strategy Guide's Trading Education Series. Today we're going to discuss the MetaTrader dialog boxes. Don't go away. Hi, this is Tim from TradingStrategyGuides.com. Thanks for coming back for this installment of the Trading Education Series. In today's video, we're going to talk about the MetaTrader Options Dialog. As usual, this video is not sponsored by MetaTrader, so what you'll hear is my totally unvarnished opinion. And be sure to stay to the end of the video and I'll show you the dream trade for this week. In the last few weeks, I've shown you the MetaTrader toolbars and the menu system. Today we're going to look at the options dialog box, and next week we'll tackle the chart properties dialog box. The options dialog box is the spot where you can change much of the functionality of MT4. You access it by clicking on the tools menu and selecting options. As you can see, there's a series of tabs across the top. I'm going to start on the server tab and we'll cover them one at a time. The Server tab allows you to change a lot of information about your price feed server and login information, including the main password and the investor password. The main password, of course, is the one that allows you to log into your account and execute trades. A cool feature of MT4 is the investor password. Someone with the investor password can see all of your trades and account information, but they cannot execute trades on the account. This is handy if you're trading for someone else. They'll be able to see what's happening in the account without them being able to mess with your trades. Also, the investor password is the password you'll use if someone is copying your trades into their trading account. You can change your passwords by clicking on this change button right here and filling in this dialog. You can select whether you're changing your master password or your investor password right here. So you put in your current password, you enter the new password, you confirm the new password, and you click OK. The Server tab also allows you to designate if you want to keep personal settings and data at the startup. I don't know why someone would not want to do that. I suppose if you're trading on a public computer, you might want to do that. But I can't imagine anyone doing that. But it's possible, I suppose. These other settings here, the proxy server, the DDE server, refer to how your network is set up. The details of that are beyond the scope of this video. Lastly, this will allow you to enable and disable incoming news. I don't know that brokers even use this feature very much anymore. The next tab is the Charts tab. These settings allow you to select the default chart parameters. Most of these can be changed for individual charts that you already have open, and that'll be covered by the chart properties dialog next week. Show trade levels right here will draw lines where your trade entry, stop loss, and targets are. If you click this button, you will have to hold down the Alt key to drag the trade level lines. Without that, you can just click on a line to move it. Here's an example of what it looks like with the trade lines enabled. By clicking and dragging on the lines, you can drag your take profit. This happens to be a short trade that I entered just for demonstration purposes. You can drag your take profit level. You can drag your stop loss level. If you click the second checkbox, you will have to hold the Alt key to be able to move those lines. The Show OHLC will determine whether the open, high, low, and close appears right up here on the chart. Now, MT4 charts are what we call bid charts. They show the current bid price of the currency pair. The bid price is the price at which we sell. The ask line, or the price at which we buy, typically isn't displayed. The difference between the bid-ask is what we call the spread. This is the money your broker makes on the trade if you don't pay commissions. So if you were to check this, by default, any charts that open up would show the ask line. Now this is a 1-minute Euro USD chart. You can see right here is the bid line, right here is the ask line. So if you were to enter a sell trade, it would get you in at the bid line, which keeps moving away from me. If you were to enter a buy trade, it would get you in at the buy line. Currently the spread on my account is 1.7 pips. If you watch this for a second, you can see that the ask line will move with respect to the bid line based on whatever the spread happens to be at the moment. Show period separators will put vertical lines at the beginning of each period, the position of which depends on the chart time frame. So beginning on the 5-minute chart and going up through the 1-hour chart, it'll show a vertical line at the beginning of each trading day. When you jump up to the 4-hour chart, it will show the beginning of each trading week. On the daily chart, it will show the beginning of each trading month. And on the weekly and monthly charts, it will show the beginning of each trading year. This checkbox allows you to turn on color printing. Remember, MT4 dates back about 15 years. Now, I find this last checkbox here to be pretty handy. Save deleted charts to reopen. Again, if you're old enough, you'll remember the state of computer technology 15 years ago was such that hard drive space was pretty limited. The disadvantage of saving the deleted charts was that it eats up quite a bit of storage. That shouldn't be much of an issue these days, and it's pretty handy to have them when you've marked up a chart and then accidentally deleted it. And lastly, you can specify how many candlesticks are in the history or stored in the computer and how many bars appear in the chart. Again, this is a storage space issue, which is unlikely to be much of an issue these days. The only reason you would need a whole lot of them, though, is if you have indicators that calculate back years or something like that. The next tab is the Objects tab. The Objects tab refers to how drawing objects will react when you create them. Check the first one if you want to see the object properties displayed each time you create a new object. For me, that's just kind of annoying. If you want the object selected after you create it, check that box. And then this last box will allow you to select an object using a single click instead of a double click, which is the default action. I personally prefer a single click. Sometimes I accidentally select an object that way, but it's still a lot handier for me to single click an object to select it. Now, when you're drawing an object and you want it to snap to the nearest candle point, this designates how sensitive you want the snap to be. The way this is set is if I select a point that's within 10 pixels of a candle point, either the high, the low, the open, or the close, it will snap to that particular candle point. Next is the Trade tab. Most of this is pretty straightforward, but I did want to mention the one-click trading that you see right down here. If you select this checkbox, you'll be enabling one-click trading. I like that, especially if I'm trading very short-term charts. Otherwise, you have to go through the huge trade entry dialog just to get the trade open, and most of the time I just want to open it right away. Yes, I make mistakes sometimes, and yes, it costs me money sometimes, but more often than not, it gets me in the trade where I want and not 30 seconds later when the price is moved on. Next is the Expert Advisors tab. This tab allows me to control how the expert advisors, or EAs, are handled by the platform. You might also call them robots or trade robots. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on this. If you do get an expert advisor, though, it should include details on how each of these parameters should be set. The next tab is Notifications. The Notifications tab allows you to set up push notifications of trade events on your handheld device. This is really handy for me. It allows me to break away from my desk even while I have trades in play. These instructions right here should be sufficient to get this all set up for you. Now, back before we had push notifications, we had email notifications. And the Email tab allows you to set up email notifications of these trading events. Doing this requires a bit of knowledge about how email works, which is beyond the scope of this video. I've used this feature quite a bit in the past, but in my opinion it has been well replaced by the push notification capability, and I think it remains here just for backwards compatibility. Another legacy item is the FTP, or File Transfer Protocol tab. FTP is a very early internet protocol for transferring files between two computers. A long time ago I did use this function to transfer trade data from one machine to another for updating a web page or something like that. But for the most part, unless you're a developer, you probably will not be using this at all. The next tab we'll look at is the Events tab. The Events tab allows you to specify sounds to accompany trading events. This is a nice feature. If you want special sounds for your trade opening and so on, just be aware that it will only accept lossless WAV files for the sound, and it won't be able to handle MP3s. The next tab is the Community tab. The Community tab allows you to log into the MQL5 community of developers and service providers for buying EAs and signal services. And lastly, the Signals tab allows you to set up a trade signal service to automatically take trades in your account. If you do decide to get involved in a trade signal service, they will be able to help you set this up the way it needs to be set up. And that wraps up our discussion of the MetaTrader Options dialog. Next week we'll take a look at the Chart Properties dialog. But for this week, let's take a look at the Dream Trades. Dream Trades is a new service from Trading Strategy Guides. I've been testing this system out and I'm enjoying it. Just a quick overview. Dream Trades shows you selected stock issues that meet the Dream Trades criteria. The stocks are selected by their trade volume and other fundamentals, and also by the price with respect to the three moving averages, the 50-day, the 150-day, and the 200-day simple moving averages. This is the Running with the Bulls page for potential buy trades. You'll also notice here the Sleeping with the Bears trades for potential sell trades. Now, last week's Dream Trade was AUB. As I'm recording this video around 1 p.m. New York time on Tuesday, AUB has popped up and retested the 50-period moving average and has pushed down to just a little past halfway to our first target on this. I'm still waiting for it to hit 21.77, at which time I will move the stop loss down to break even at 22.92. Now, once again today, I looked for a setup that wasn't too far along, and that's kind of tough, and I apologize if these trades are triggering before the video is released. Actually, I'm pretty much 0-2 in that respect. The first one I found never actually triggered, and last week's triggered on Tuesday. I'm going to track these trades anyway, just to keep you guys up to speed on what these Dream Trades are doing. As I mentioned, right now it's about 1 p.m. New York time on Tuesday, so the market will close in a few hours, and I've found a trade that looks like it might be able to hold until tomorrow. Today's dream trade set up as a potential buy on Bloom Energy Corporation. BE is the symbol. And as of Tuesday afternoon, BE is making a triangle consolidation right here on an uptrend. It has attacked the 50-period moving average and retreated. One should also notice that all the moving averages are in nice alignment for a long trade. This is the way I want to see a chart look just before a signal. I'm looking for this to close above the 50-period SMA, and I want to see a corresponding spike in the volume on the breaking candle. Taking the dream trades is simple, but requires a bit of analysis. So just about 30 minutes before the market closes, or about 3:30 p.m. New York time, take a look at the charts and find the ones that have been trending in the correct direction, like this one. Make sure all the moving averages are aligned, and make sure you're getting a spike in the volume. Keep in mind that you could experience a little bit of stalling when this thing gets up into this area as it overcomes the resistance of this consolidation. When this trade breaks, your stop loss will be 95% of the entry price, and your first target will be 105% of the price. If the price starts to go sideways, we'll close it and move on, which will allow us to use the equity on something that's moving. When the price hits our first target, we'll move our stop loss to break even. Each time the stock moves 5% in our direction, we'll move our stop loss 5%, so it will always be 5% behind the current price. Now, I had a question on last week's video, so just to clarify, the trade management of these dream trades is different from my normal trade pick strategy. In the trade pick strategy, we take some profit when the price hits our first target, and the result of that is typically a lower drawdown, but also a smaller profit. And that's our dream trade for this week. If you want more information about dream trades, just click the link below in the description box. And be sure to come back next Wednesday at 3 p.m. as we will continue the discussion of the MT4 trading platform. And don't miss my Trading Picks videos on Fridays and Mondays right here at Trading Strategy Guides YouTube channel at 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you'll be notified when these videos come out. Have a great Wednesday, and I'll see you with a new Trading Pick on Friday.